So, you're looking to get your CDL and start a career driving commercial vehicles? That's a great goal, but it's not as simple as just hopping behind the wheel. You'll need to pass a series of knowledge and skills tests, and those tests are designed to ensure you're a safe, competent, and responsible driver. This video covers the essential information on the CDL knowledge tests and the skills tests. We'll go through what to expect, how to prepare, and what to watch out for. These tests aren't just about passing a hurdle. They're about ensuring your safety, the safety of others on the road, and the safety of the cargo you haul. Commercial vehicles are large and powerful, and they require a high level of skill and knowledge to operate safely. The knowledge tests are the first step. They assess your understanding of the rules of the road, safe driving practices, vehicle systems, and regulations. Think of it as the theoretical foundation you need before you get behind the wheel. You'll take these tests on a computer using the Automated Knowledge Testing Equipment, or AKTE. It's a multiple-choice format, so take your time and read each question carefully. To make sure everyone understands the questions, the knowledge tests are offered in multiple languages including English, Arabic, Chinese, Punjabi, Russian, and Spanish. You might also find the CDL handbook available in these languages, which is a great resource for studying. Test breakdown, general knowledge. This is the core test required for all CDL applicants. It covers fundamental concepts like traffic laws, safe driving practices, vehicle systems, and cargo handling. For example, what is the following distance rule for commercial vehicles? A. 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle length. B. 2 seconds per 10 feet of vehicle length. C. 3 seconds per 10 feet of vehicle length. D. 4 seconds per 10 feet of vehicle length. In this case, the correct answer would be A. 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle length. Air brakes. If your vehicle has air brakes, you'll need this endorsement. The test covers the components of the air brake system, how it works, and how to inspect it properly. This is critical for safety. For example, what is the purpose of the air pressure gauge? The air pressure gauge is a safety instrument that displays the real-time air pressure within the vehicle's air brake system. It serves two primary functions. Monitoring system integrity. The gauge allows drivers to continuously monitor the air pressure, ensuring it remains within the safe operating range. It immediately alerts drivers to any air pressure loss, indicating potential leaks or system malfunctions. It ensures adequate braking power. Sufficient air pressure is essential for proper brake operation. The air pressure gauge confirms that the system has enough pressure to apply the brakes effectively, to slow down and stop the truck. It allows the driver to ensure that the air pressure is built up to the correct parameters before moving the vehicle. In essence, the air pressure gauge is critical for preventing brake failure by providing drivers with a constant visual check on the health and functionality of the air brake system. Combination vehicles, for drivers of tractor-trailers and other combination vehicles. This test covers coupling and uncoupling, weight distribution, and handling characteristics. For example, explain the proper procedure for coupling a trailer to a tractor. In this case, that procedure would be: back the tractor under the trailer, adjust the tractor's fifth wheel to the appropriate height, back the tractor until fifth wheel locks onto the trailer's kingpin, verify that the fifth wheel jaws are fully locked around the kingpin, as in, look at it, secure the trailer, including safety chains, raise the landing gear, and connect and test air by engaging glad hands and all electrical connections. Hazardous materials, HazMat. If you plan to haul hazardous materials, you'll need this endorsement, and it requires a TSA background check. This test covers regulations, emergency procedures, and more. For example, what information must be included on a HazMat shipping paper? When dealing with hazardous materials, or HazMat shipping papers, accuracy is critical. Here's a breakdown of the essential information that must be included based on US DOT regulations. Key information on HazMat shipping papers. Proper shipping name, PSN. This is the standardized name of the hazardous material as listed in the Hazardous Materials Table, 49 CFR 172.101. Hazard class or division. This indicates the type of hazard the material poses, such as flammable liquid, corrosive, and so on. Identification number, UNNA number. This is a 4-digit number that identifies the specific hazardous material. Packing group PG. If applicable, this indicates the degree of danger the material poses. Roman numeral 1 equals high danger. Roman numeral 2 equals medium danger. And Roman numeral 3 equals low danger. Quantity. This is the total quantity of the hazardous material being shipped. Number and type of packages. This describes the number and type of containers holding the hazardous material. Emergency response information. This includes information that can be used in the event of an emergency, such as a phone number for emergency assistance. Shipper's certification. This is a statement certifying that the shipment is properly classified, packaged, marked, and labeled. Important considerations. The order of this information is also important. The basic description must be in a specific order. Additional information may be required depending on the specific hazardous material and mode of transportation, such as truck, train, ship, or air. Regulations can be complex, and it's essential to refer to the latest DOT regulations for complete and accurate information. Where to find more information? The primary source for this information is the U.S. Department of Transportation's Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, PHMSA. Their website and regulations, 49 CFR, provide detailed guidance, but you'll get all this and everything you need in the DMV's Commercial Driver's Handbook. Other tests, brief overview. Depending on what you plan to drive, you might also need tests for tank vehicles, doubles, triples, school buses, and passenger vehicles. Study strategies. The DMV Handbook is your primary study resource. Read it thoroughly and take notes. Use practice tests and online resources to reinforce your learning. Focus on understanding the concepts, not just memorizing the answers. Test-taking tips. Read each question carefully and make sure you understand what it's asking. Eliminate obviously wrong answers to narrow down your choices. Manage your time effectively. Don't spend too long on any single question. Once you pass the knowledge tests, you'll move on to the skills tests. These are hands-on evaluations of your ability to safely operate a commercial vehicle. They're designed to simulate real-world driving scenarios. It's crucial to remember that all skills tests are conducted exclusively in English. No interpreters are allowed. This is a safety requirement to ensure clear communication between you and the examiner. Skills test components. Vehicle inspection. This is where you'll implement the pre-trip inspection skills you've learned. It is approximately 40 minutes. This test proves you know how to thoroughly inspect your vehicle and identify any safety defects. You'll be asked to point out and explain what you would inspect and why. The examiner will evaluate your knowledge of vehicle components, your ability to identify defects and malfunctions, your understanding of why each inspection item is important for safety. For example, you might be asked to show the examiner how to inspect the brakes. Common mistakes. Missing critical items, like brake components or steering mechanisms. Not providing clear and detailed explanations. Rushing through the inspection without being thorough. For example, brake inspections are critical for safety, preventing catastrophic failures. Understand the difference between air and hydraulic brakes, focusing on air brakes for truck drivers. Air brake checks. Perform air leak tests, noting acceptable loss rates. Verify the low-pressure warning device. Test parking brake holding. Check brake adjustment, manually measuring pushrod travel if possible. Hydraulic brake checks. Inspect fluid levels, pedal feel, and lines for leaks. General brake inspection. Visually examine drums, rotors, linings, pads, and lines for damage. Listen for unusual sounds during application. During road tests, check for pulling, grabbing, or excessive pedal travel. Identify out-of-adjustment brakes by excessive pedal travel, weak uneven braking, long stopping distances, or slack in components. Pushrod travel. This precise measurement is indicative of brake engagement distance and is the most accurate adjustment check. To measure. Park safely, chalk wheels, locate the pushrod, mark a reference point, apply brakes fully, measure the travel, and compare to manufacturer specs. Out-of-spec travel signifies adjustment issues. Pushrod specs vary, so you will want to consult your service manual. In all things, safety, safety, safety. Basic control skills. This is the next step and comes after the pre-trip segment. It's approximately 30 minutes. This test will evaluate your ability to control the vehicle in a controlled environment. You'll be asked to perform specific maneuvers, such as backing, turning, and parking. Common maneuvers. Alley dock. This is backing into a simulated loading dock. Straight line backing. This is backing in a straight line for a specified distance. Offset backing. This is backing into a space at an angle. Scoring. You'll be scored on your accuracy, smoothness, and control. Points are deducted for errors such as hitting cones or crossing boundaries. Tips for success. Practice each maneuver repeatedly until you're comfortable. Use your mirrors effectively to guide your movements. Control your speed and make smooth, deliberate adjustments. Road test. This is the third step after the pre-trip and basic control skills segments. It'll be the fourth step if you also count the knowledge test. This part of the test will be in the neighborhood of approximately 45 to 60 minutes long. This is the final test. You'll drive the vehicle on a predetermined route in real-world traffic conditions. The examiner will assess your ability to drive safely and obey traffic laws. Driving situations. You'll see left and right turns, lane changes, railroad crossings, as well as up and down grades. The examiner will also evaluate lane control and positioning, speed management, traffic awareness and hazard perception, use of signals and mirrors, your overall safe driving habits. Common mistakes. Speeding or driving too slowly, improper lane changes or turns, failure to check mirrors or blind spots, hesitation or uncertainty in traffic. CDL restrictions. Remember that your CDL will be restricted to the type of vehicle you use for the skills test. So, if you test in a truck without air brakes, your license will be restricted to vehicles without air brakes. Retest fees. If you fail any of the skills tests, you'll be required to pay a retest fee to try again, so preparation is key. Testing rules and logistics. During both the knowledge and skills tests, cheating is strictly prohibited. This includes study guides or notes, cell phones, smartwatches, or any electronic devices, any other unauthorized aids. Skills test rules. For the skills test, this also includes no markings or labels on the vehicle that could provide assistance, no help or instructions from anyone outside the vehicle. Consequences of cheating. If you're caught cheating, you'll face consequences, including possibly losing your driving privilege and being disqualified from obtaining a CDL. Scheduling. It's highly recommended to schedule your CDL tests in advance to avoid long wait times. You can typically do this online or by phone through the DMV. Time commitment. Be prepared to spend a significant amount of time at the DMV. The knowledge test can take 2 to 3 hours, and the skills test can take up to 2 hours or more, depending on the number of applicants. Handbook importance. The DMV Commercial Driver Handbook is your most important resource. Study it thoroughly before your tests. It contains all the information you need to know to pass. The Troops to Trucks program is designed to help qualified military personnel transition into civilian trucking careers by waiving the CDL skills test. Eligibility. To be eligible, you must meet specific requirements including being currently employed or having been employed within the last year in a military position requiring the operation of a CMV, operating a military vehicle equivalent to a CMV on public roads and highways. Application process. To apply for the waiver, you'll need to submit the following documentation to the DMV. Required documents. CDL certification for military waiver of CDL driving test. DL 963. Commanding officer's certification of driving experience. DL 964. Active duty members. Military ID. Veterans. Certificate of release or discharge from active duty. Form DD 214. Showing discharge within the last year. P&S endorsement. Exception. It's important to note that the Troops to Trucks waiver does not apply if you're seeking a passenger P or school bus S endorsement. Even if you're eligible for the waiver, you'll still need to take the skills test for those due to the increased safety considerations involved. Conclusion. My bite-sized videos only cover the basics of California's CDL test material. The DMV handbook has far greater detail and has everything you'll need to pass the knowledge test. You'll learn everything you'll need for the skills portion of the test from a reputable CDL truck driving school. That's their job, to teach you to pass. Don't worry. It'll come. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more CDL insights. I hope the addition of selected questions and answers helped. That wraps up this video. Credit to DMV's Commercial Driver's Handbook, to Google for source material, and Google's Gemini AI for feedback and never-ending suggestions on script improvement. It provided feedback, help in organizing and structuring information, and assisted in my strenuous push for clarity. That being said, I appreciate your support of my creative endeavors. Thank you for subscribing. You have a great day and keep on truckin'.